After 2 days, Jungkook takes Wine to his mansion. In the meantime, he took care of her the whole 2 days, without going to work or anything. He didn't make Wine realize that he wasn't her husband, even for a second. In the past, he tried everything he could to make her his, but all in vain. She never had feelings for him, nor she could force her feelings. This is after a lot of his efforts that she is finally becoming his, so he doesn't want her to realize at all that she doesn't love him. Reaching his bedroom, she sees a lot of their pictures standing together and having fun together, even the picture of their marriage, to which she was surprised at first, but then she sighed in relief. That was because she never felt any affection for him in the last 2 days, no matter how much he cared for her. Rather, she felt forced and noticed if she doesn't listen to him, how his expressions change into anger. She didn't like it at all, so she questioned herself if he is even her husband or not. But now that she saw the pictures, she sighed in relief, thinking that he wasn't lying all that time. While for someone like Jungkook, it was a piece of cake for him to fabricate these pictures, which Vine never thought could happen. She smiled after looking at the pictures, for Jungkook nods her and puts his arm around her neck and says, "Do you remember anything after looking at the pictures?" She turns to him and hugs him while she says, "I'm so sorry. All this time I thought you were lying, but you weren't. Thank God." Having an evil smirk on his face, he hugs her back and says, "No worries, darling. I'll always be with you in your hardest times." He looked at her neck and wanted to bite it so bad, but his eyes grew dark and evil again. Whenever he sees her body, he feels like this, proving that he doesn't love her at all, but all of this is just obsession of a psychopath. He wanted to control it, but he couldn't, in the end, so he decided to bite it anyway and deal with the consequences later. He was so close to it, but Vine broke the hug, without knowing what was about to happen. She smiles and looks at him, but soon her smile disappears when she looks in those evil eyes. She feels confused again, but soon he comes to his senses and smiles back at her. "Just lie down on the bed. You must have been tired. I'll make something quick and delicious for you with my own hands," Jungkook said while helping her to lie on the bed. She nods to him and he goes outside, ordering his maid to make something for her, for he sits down on the couch to watch TV. "I can't believe I have to do all of this for her, but it will be worth it in the end, I believe. Her soul, and especially her body, will be mine," he says, smirking and licking his lips. After some minutes, his maid comes to tell him that the food is ready, but he answers her, "Cover it for some time. This show is just so interesting. I'll go when it ends." He laughed again while watching. In the meantime, Vine in her room slept when it was the only day she dreamed in her sleep. She had dreamless nights for the last 2 days, and she doesn't remember anything before. So it's kind of the first dream she has, but what she sees is unbelievable for her. Black and white view of a room where she is tied up and can't see her body, nor the person standing next to her, who says to her with his evil smirk, "I'll make you forget all of your memories, and then I'll tell you that I'm..." She couldn't hear anything clearly, and she screams back to him, "You are just a psychopath who ruined my life. Don't go. Don't do this, please, Joan." Before she says the name of the person, Jungkook wakes her up from her dream. She opens her eyes in an instant, taking a deep sigh. "What happened? Are you okay?" he asked her. "Oh, yes, I'm fine," says Vine. "That's good then. Just get up now and see. I made the fort for you with my own hands. I bet you'll love it, he says while smiling at her. Vine spoke. He said, I'll make you forget your memories. I smiled in shock. This isn't possible, right? Why would someone do that? But why did that dream feel so real, as if it was a memory and not a dream? No, no, what am I even thinking? Just focus on him, Vine. Look how much he cares for you. I smile back at him and takes the tray of food from his hand. I tasted and it was unbelievably good. This is so delicious. You're very talented, I said and ate the whole food while he sat beside me and admired me. I can't believe he loves me so much when I can't feel anything for him. Then I remembered something from my dream. Didn't I say June? Ah, I was going to say his full name. Why did I wake up right at the time? Who is John now? Should I ask him? Maybe he knows. It will greatly help me get my memories back. Poem ends. She is his wife, and never in the 2 days did she even ask his full name. Dumb, right? But she never thought so, nor did she feel the need for it. As she was going to ask him, he takes the tray from her hand and asks her if she was okay, as she looked someone who was very confused. Fine, I'm fine. I just want to ask. Finally, he says and comes close to her, trying to kiss her. She gets back a little as she wasn't sure about it. Jungkook, what happened? You're fine, right? Let's do something fun. Fine. Uh, I'm sorry. I don't feel like doing it today. He smiles at her calmly, trying his best to control his anger. When he says, that's when we should do it, baby. When we don't feel like doing something fun, that's when we should do it to relieve our stress. Now don't talk. He forcefully comes to her and starts pegging her lips, going down until her neck. She didn't feel like doing it at all, so she neither did it back nor refused him. But when he was about to put off her clothes, moving his hands towards the strap of her bra, she pushed him back. Fine. I really am not feeling fine today. Can we do this sometimes later, please? Jungkook, but you just said you're fine. What happened? Fine. My head hurts a lot, and this head of yours. How much will it hurt, huh? He said while clenching his fist. Fine. What are you saying? He comes to his senses, but still a little angry as to how he's doing all of this for her for 2 days. But he isn't serious at all. I I'm sorry. You should rest a bit. I'll go. Without letting her speak a word, he goes out of the room while slamming the door. What was that? She asked herself while holding the blanket tightly. She was scared of his reaction, but she felt a little bad for him. That he made the food for her, but she isn't even treating him good. I just don't want him to come closer to me. I don't know why, says Vine. She gets up and starts roaming around the room as she catches sights of the lovely pictures of both of them in the room. She goes to their marriage picture and runs her hand across it, thinking how happy she must have been during that moment. And it all came to ruin when she lost her memory. As she was looking at them, she noticed that the expressions looked fake a little. She didn't want to believe it, but when she started noticing them, the fake expressions looked more clearer to her. Vine spoke. This isn't true. How can someone smile so fake on their wedding? And the eyes, they show no love. But still, we both are holding hands and kissing each other in the other photo. Why? All of this is too good to be true. A little and vague thought escaped her mind, which was, we don't like each other. As she was thinking about this, her head started hurting, actually, this time, as the vague and unclear memories started flashing in her mind again. She is again lying on the same place and screaming on some man. You can alter one's mind, but not the heart. My heart will know that I don't love you. My heart will never accept you. I will never accept you. She fell on the floor while groaning in pain, which was heard by Jungkook. He came inside to see what is it and sees her on the floor. He goes to her all tensed up and holds her shoulders, which was coldly refused by Wine in an instant. Jungkook, what happened? I just came to ask if you are okay. Wine looks at him and keeps looking at him with cold eyes, as she doesn't believe anything now. Jungkook, it's okay. Don't tell me if you don't want to. Let me just put you on the bed first. He picks her up and puts her on the bed, for she wanted to refuse him, but she didn't have the energy to do so. He puts the blanket on her and sits beside her. Wine, are you sure that I love you? His eyes getting dark and confused as he asked her, what do you mean? Of course we love each other. Fine. Then why do my expressions on these photos tell me something else? And why are there so many photos in the first place? There isn't even an inch empty on the walls. It's as if you put them yourself to make me believe that I'm your wife. Jungkook, what the... Just what the hell are you talking about? Tell me your full name, asked Vine. Jungkook, what? Fine. Surprised, right? I don't even know your full name. And all these 2 days, you've been feeding me trash that I don't have any family. I only have you, and that how much I love you. Jungkook, you're just an idiot. I'm a human, and I can forget things too. I'm not your slave or a robot that I have to do everything perfect. Fine. Mistake? Then tell me what's your full name. It's John Jungkook. Happy now? I don't know what you're trying to prove here. Her eyes widened up and her whole body felt the shivers from the terror. She stays quiet, trying to comprehend what's even happening and what to do now. Fine. You made me forget my memories, right? Jungkook's eyes went blank and he hesitated before saying, what is wrong with you today? Just rest a bit and you'll be fine. Fine. Wrong? Finally, I'm getting it all right. Why? Just why did you do this to me? Why don't you let me go? Jungkook, I'm not doing anything. Why don't you understand? Wine. Okay then. If you're not doing anything, then I'm going from here. She gets up from the bed and slowly moves towards the door when she heard him saying, don't take another step from here. She stopped when she heard him, but considering it the only chance to escape, she starts running, but couldn't run fast as her head was hurting a lot. He ran behind her and immediately came in front of her, blocking the way. He starts coming towards her while she took steps back, looking in his eyes. His devilish and dark eyes struck terror in her whole body, that she was almost about to cry. Fine. Please, please don't do anything. Please let me go. Tears rolled down from her eyes and she started running behind, but he quickly snatched her hairs tightly, not letting her go, for she groaned in pain. Vine's face was still not towards Jungkook, and he came upon her from behind, while sucking her neck. Jungkook, I'm done being the slave. I won't let you go this time, no matter what. You're trapped in this mansion, in my place, where there is no escape. She cried in pain while trying to get out of his grip. Why are you doing this? Please don't. She even stopped saying those words when his grip was getting more tightened. She also believed that there is no way out now. After a few minutes, he leaves her and licked his lips. Then he made her turn to face him. Jungkook, that was so delicious. I guess you're all calmed now. Let's go to the room then. I'll let you rest today. You're anyways going to be with me from now on. He holds her hand and takes her towards the bedroom, making her lie on the bed, while he himself laid beside her and slept after a few minutes. She was at her worst right now. She didn't even cry, for she never believed something like this could happen to her too. She looks at him and then looks at the window to see the beautiful weather. It was about to rain, and she admires rain so much. She goes towards the window and admires the weather a little, while thinking about the harsh life she is living. She wipes her tears, which came after watching the weather, and smiles widely while wondering, I guess I won't be able to watch my last rain too. How bitterly beautiful, she says while looking at the green leaves and roses, which were fluttering in the air, showing a beautiful scene. Next day, Jungkook wakes up but doesn't find Wine beside him. He stretches his arms, taking a gentle moan, and gets up from the bed. He was about to go to the washroom, but his eye caught the side of a note which was on the side table of his bed. He sees it and it says, You can do anything to get me right, but if I take that one thing from you that you want the most, will you then know the pain that I suffer? I deeply hope you do. He reads the note and was trying to understand it, that he heard his maid screaming from the kitchen. He quickly runs there and sees the most unimaginable scene. The floor was filled with blood, so he proceeds further with his sweaty forehead and immediately falls on the floor when he sees Vine lying down with her wrist cut down. His heartbeat fastens and he can't believe his eyes. He crawls on the floor to go close to her. He holds her face with his bare hands and screamed in pain. He kept screaming and asking her to come back for hours, but she was gone. His servants in the house felt bad for him, even when they know what kind of person he is, but they still couldn't hear his screams as to how painful they were. Looks like he got more and more obsessed as he lived with her for the last 3 days. After crying for several hours, he laid down on the floor beside her, wanting to kill himself. Looks like you won. I felt the pain that you wanted me to. Now I should go too. One thing he didn't know was that he wasn't crying because he loves her. He was just like someone who is obsessed with drugs, and now that he can't have them anymore, he is feeling tortured to the point that he wants to die rather than suffering in pain. He looks at the ceiling and scoffs. This is how it ends, huh? No, I refuse to accept it. He sleeps after that, a long and peaceful sleep that only comes after crying. He lives his afterlife in denial. He sees Wine even when she is gone. He feeds her even when she can't eat. He makes her laugh even when she doesn't have a face. He cares for her even when she is gone. And then slowly and steadily, the day came when he was admitted to a mental hospital. Only if he hadn't seen her that day, this day wouldn't have come. Only if he didn't allow himself to be madly obsessed with her, he would have been sane now. Only if it didn't happen, they both would have been living happily in their own lives.